Hindi ko lang batayan po para sabihin na there are funds being made available to impeach the Vice President at this point. I think whatever moves that will happen by the 5th of February, by the 6th of February will be undertaken independently of whatever it is that is being alleged. No? Kasi impeachment proceedings naman po are not based on projects that are promised. No? Impeachment proceedings are based on quests for truth and accountability, particularly on the use of confidential funds.
Meron daw budget for pushing the impeachment of the Vice President this 2026. And ina-allege din ni Senator Amy Marcos na yung budget daw ay quote-unquote giniling para sa impeachment ni VP. Any thoughts on the allegations na itong budget na ito is going to fund again another possible impeachment move to the Vice President?
Well, una sa lahat, hindi ko masyadong gets yung intersectionality nung pong non-appearance ng mga kong sa supposed moves to impeach the Vice President on the basis of additional funding for 2026. No? So tingin ko, para magkaibang bagay po yun and we shouldn't conflate it. And more importantly, I don't think it's accurate to say that no one actually went to the ICI proceedings because as far as I remember, Majority Leader Sandro Marcos was there, Congressman Nicky Briones was there, and several other House members actually attended that particular proceeding. So yun, I think that's the first point that needs to be made. So that is factually incorrect. No? But secondly, hindi ko lang batayan po para sabihin na there are funds being made available to impeach the Vice President at this point. I think whatever moves that will happen by the 5th of February, by the 6th of February will be undertaken independently of whatever it is that is being alleged. No? Kasi impeachment proceedings naman po are not based on projects that are promised. No? Impeachment proceedings are based on quests for truth and accountability, particularly on the use of confidential funds. No? So the basis for the impeachment last year has not changed actually for 2026. So if House members or civil society would want to file it again as soon as the one-year ban is finished, I think they are free to do so. And I don't think they will be motivated by any promises of any projects for 2026.
Pero kung, of course, nasabi na rin kasi ni Kong Toby last year na yung budget for 2025 was used or parang dinangle daw ng mga for later release dahil daw po sa pagpirma sa impeachment complaint ni VP last year. And of course, hindi natin masabi kung meron din bang ganitong sistema na mangyayari na pag may nagkapirmahan, magkakaroon ng FLR. So, are we assured na walang mangyayaring hocus-pocus na naman na mangyayari this coming February 6 if ever man magkaroon man ng impeachment complaint and then pirmahan na naman to dahil may mga dinangle na mga funds for later release?
Well, again, that's a bit premature to answer kasi there is no impeachment complaint that has been filed as yet. Di ba? So, I don't want to talk about hypotheticals at this point. But yung remark naman po ni Congressman Chanco, I think that is best addressed by him again. No? So, whatever he feels about last year, I haven't been there in the 19th Congress, so I think it is him to get someone else to basically corroborate what he said. No, but, you know, like, I will retain my original position that impeachment proceedings are based on facts and the evidence that are actually presented. Pero more importantly, I think the more important question that needs to be resolved first and that needs to be asked first would be, what is the status of the motion for reconsideration that had been made by Congress to the Supreme Court? Kasi marami pong mga questions that will be resolved as soon as that gets disposed of by the Supreme Court. No? So hopefully from today up until the 5th of February 2026, the Supreme Court will basically dispose of the matter already. Kasi syempre, pagka it is favorable to the House, it basically would mean that you don't need another impeachment complaint against the Vice President at this point. It basically means that the Senate will have to proceed to trial if it is favorable to the House. No? Pero syempre, if it is unfavorable to the House will have to implement the new rules of impeachment that the Supreme Court wants us to implement. No? So that would have to guide us by the 6th of February pagka nagkaroon po ng new impeachment complaints.
Sir, good morning.
Kenneth muna, Kenneth.
Ay.
Si Lanes ka muna.
Sir, on sa impeachment, just to be clear, the House will wait for the SC ruling first before deciding
I don't think so.
to pursue another impeachment complaint.
No, I don't think it's contingent on anything. Di ba? Kasi as soon as the ban is finished, has lapsed, I think anyone is free to make what they want to do of that lapsing of the date. No? So by the 6th of February, if there's a group, a person, private person, House member that wants to file an impeachment, they are free to do so. No? So syempre, it gives a little bit more complication on how the House will have to proceed. Di ba? Pagka hindi pa ho na-resolve yung MR. But, hindi naman natin kontrolado po yung Korte Suprema. Di ba? I also cannot make a statement on on how the House will actually proceed. Will it insist on its own rules by the 6th of Feb kung wala pa ho siyang, wala pang resolution niyo po yung MR? I don't know. I think the House will have to decide at that point.
Sir, yung follow-up po about the budget. Sir, yung saan kasi we're talking about the safeguards, yung vetoed provisions. Going forward, do you think, sir, that Department of Budget and Management should announce kung merong releases from UA? Kasi as it is, we don't know, di ba nakalista lang yung under UA, and it's up to the President. Pag may sumobrang revenue, it's the President's discretion. Alin dun sa mga nakalista sa UA gets to be funded. It's under dagaan naman. Yun naman yung provision din talaga, even under 2026. So dapat ba, the DBM should announce na we had this excess revenue and this item is funded by this excess revenue because of so and so and so, yung justification. Bakit kasi, halimbawa, 15 yung nakalista. Diba? Dapat the burden is on the DBM or on the President to justify, halimbawa, yung item number 6 ang pinondohan nung excess revenue under UA.
Well, tingin ko wala naman pong problema kung mag-undertake ng transparency measures, no? Yung pong DBM. Kasi anyway, for example, lahat naman po ng mga budget documents nila is being uploaded to their website. So I don't think we need to have separate rules for yung pong UA implementation as we reach that point. So actually, hindi lang ho siya usapin nung which project it is, no? So they have to be transparent firstly on whether or not excess revenue exists, or second, they have to be transparent also on whether they will have to borrow for these projects to be able for us to be able to fund these particular projects. So yun yung una. So second, saka tayo mag-usap kung ano yung mga projects na actually gusto nilang pondan from this excess revenue or from additional loans that we will undertake during the course of the year.
Thank you, sir.
Kenneth.
Hello. Sir, what mechanisms beyond the monitoring of the bidding process will the committee use to monitor state spending? And will this include congressional hearings po ba?
Hindi, syempre, yun naman po yung main mandate, no, to undertake congressional hearings, no. Pero syempre, higit pa po doon sa mga pagdinig yung actual pong pagpunta doon sa mga opisina eh. Basically, parang kasama yun doon sa fact-finding mandate, no? Para makita natin ano pa talaga itsura ng bidding sa, for example, sa DPWH, sa district level, ano ba yung itsura talaga ng bidding doon sa central office level, no? So, syempre, doon po sa GPPB, for example, ano pa ba yung mga bidding rules na pwede ho nilang magawa? Kasi hindi naman ho lahat kailangan ng new legislation. If it's something that the executive can actually undertake on its own, para hindi na ho kailangan ng bagong batas, bagong regulasyon na lang, I think mas mabuti yun. Di ba? So, for example, at the level po yan ng GPPB, and doon po sa level nga ng mga PICAB, hindi ba? Para we have to be able to see sino pa doon yung mga hindi pa natatanggal at nakakapag-operate pa rin po despite them being adversely affected by the flood control scandal last year.
Sir, the Philippines is under a nationwide state of calamity since November. Kasama rito yung parang pag-streamline ng bidding process. How will the committee exercise its oversight functions to ensure na yung bidding process nga is still transparent given na mas madali nga ang procurement under a state of calamity?
Well, syempre, hindi ho pwede talaga na, kahit ho streamlined yung pong bidding processes. For example, yung mga requirements ng track record doon po sa project implementation, previous project implementation, at financial viability, hindi ho natin dapat bitawan kasi major pillars ho yun eh. Doon sa pagiging tamang entidad eh, nung pong sumasali sa mga bids. No? So, hindi natin pwedeng bitawan po yun. So, I think, even if you have like streamlined processes, particularly on periods of like the number of days para matapos po yung mga bids, I think basta in place po yung most important accountability mechanisms, tuloy lang ho yun.
Okay. And sir, how will the committee monitor nga yung disbursement of unprogrammed appropriations given na hindi nga natin nalalaman if nailabas na yung pondo? How does the committee plan on doing that?
We have to work with the DBM on it, actually. Kasi, totoo yun, meron ho talagang a bit of opacity in the previous use of UA. And I think, and to be fair to the President, basically obliterated na po yung most controversial parts of UA, no? Particularly po yung SAGIP, which had basically been the funding house for infrastructure projects. No? What had only been retained, and for the most part, yung po nga support for foreign-assisted projects. No? So, I think, ano naman ho yun, syempre, kailangan pa rin ho natin bantayan, and yung opacity, irrespective of whatever line item it is, kailangan meron pa rin hong a little bit more transparency dito po sa paggamit po nito. At nabanggit ko na yan kanina, hindi ba? Una, more transparency on whether excess funds exist, and secondly, which particular projects will be undertaken in the event that excess funds actually exist. So dapat ma-state ho yun publicly, agad. Hindi yung parang hahabol lang bigla yung tao pagka nagamit na yung pondo.
Okay. And sir, sir, you mentioned na parang kailangan nga ng greater public participation and monitoring pagdating sa state spending. How exactly do you plan on giving or organizations nga, mga people's organizations, a chance to monitor state spending and disbursement?
Hindi, syempre, pagka nagpunta kami sa mga opisina ng mga ahensya, we will invite civil society and the public to join also. So, for example, pag may mga dialogue with the agencies on how they do it, no? And kung meron pong mga observing missions, no? Doon po sa mga on yung actual bidding days po nila. Siyempre, invite namin sila to be able to participate.
Okay, sir, and last question. Talon naman ako on the flood control issue. Sir, do you have plans to resume congressional hearings into the flood control issue given that the ICI nalagasan na nga ng mga miyembro at parang nawawalan na nga ng momentum? Do you have plans?
No, we are still waiting for the President to reappoint. No? That has been the previous call on the President. No? Na nag-resign po yung dalawang commissioners to be able, for him to be able to find substitutes already, replacements to the two commissioners that resigned. Kasi syempre, I think the president naman still holds in high regard the ICI. Kaya nga, I mean, kaya ho may priority measure for yung enhanced, empowered ICI. Ibig sabihin, I think the president understands na mahalaga po yung papel nito doon po sa mga corruption issues po na kinakaharap sa infrastruktura. So, for as long as, and like what I previously stated, for as long as the ICI subsists, we will remain indefinitely suspended.
Sir, last, sorry. Sir, what conditions would press the committee to continue its congressional hearings po? May mga conditions bang tinitignan?
No, well, wala naman. Pero again, the general rule on the indefinite suspension is for as long as the ICI actually subsists, no? Nagtutuloy ho siya. Or until, I guess, it becomes an actual law, an enhanced ICI, naka-indefinitely suspended po yung House. But, for example, on other matters na non-DPWH, for example, yung mga super health centers, yung pong farm-to-market roads, yung pong school buildings, ano naman ho yun I think generally separate po yun doon sa flood control. We will decide and get advice from the Rules Committee kung if we can undertake hearings po on these particular entirely separate infrastructure projects.
Lighter note, ngayon yung release ng bar exam results, anong message mo sa mga future na abogado na mapapasa and dun sa mga na hindi pinalad, anong inyong message sa kanila?
Well, una sa lahat, congratulations. Sana merong papansit. Yun yung una. Pero pangalawa, syempre, mahalaga po talaga yung rule of law, no? Kumbaga sila yung unang magbibit-bit nun at magpapamandila nun. Huwag ho nilang bitawan yun. Kasi, yan ho talaga nagtitiyak na talagang very important na we continue to speak truth to power, na hindi natin pinapabayaan na injustice yung magre-reign sa atin pong bansa. So, dapat bitbitin ho nila lagi yun as they go along their law practice. At syempre, dun sa mga hindi yung pinalad, tuloy lang. Di ba? I mean, malungkot, no? Pero mahaba naman yung buhay. Di ba? Lagi may pag-asa.
Sir, sorry po, sa likod. Sir, part po nung oversight ba nung Public Accounts Committee, kasi merong panawagan din si Kong Leviste na maging transparent yung mga House members doon sa liquidation ng paggamit ng MOOE. Supportado niyo po ba yun na ilabas kung saan ginagamit or at least yung listahan kung paano ginamit yung MOOE po ng mga House members?
Hindi ko katulad na binanggit ko na po nung nagdaan, yung pong proseso po ng MOOE ay dinedetermine po una ng House leadership. Tapos pangalawa, determined jointly with the Commission on Audit yun Hindi ba? So, we will leave it to the Commission on Audit if they wanted to introduce new rules dito po sa bagay po na ito. Kasi like what had been previously stated by a veteran congressman, this has been in place for as long as anyone can actually remember. Sabi ni Congressman Chanco when he was first congressman, it has been in place since 2010. Since I became congressman in 2013, it has been in place since 2013. So, if the Commission on Audit would want to place additional rules on the use of MOOE, I don't think the House naman po will debate it. We will follow whatever COA would want, whatever they would want to do with the MOE. Pero, yun lang muna, ayoko na masyado magdaldal tungkol dun sa bagay na yun.
Sir, last na lang po, being the representative of Bicol Saro Party List, meron po ba tayong preparations regarding po doon sa activities po ulit kasi ng Mayon? So meron mga areas na for evacuation na meron po bang relief efforts yung party list?
Well, yung pong, syempre, it's a regional party, so I think most of, thank you for mentioning it, most of yung pong mga operations funds naman po ng Bicol Saro, is being used for all of these activities. So yan po, nagagamit po yan para dito sa mga relief operations. And as soon as, syempre, kung ano man ho yung mangyari po dyan, we're monitoring what will happen. Wala pa naman actually, at this point. Pero, syempre, naghahanda rin po kami for any eventuality. Well, last point. Actually, I have to be clear ko ba't ayoko na masyado pag-usapan yung sa MOOE kasi I've seen the MOOE table of Congressman Leviste. He basically just divided it among the number of congressmen, 318. That doesn't make sense. Kasi syempre, it's an entire house pie. Hindi ba? So parang it's a bit misleading for a table to basically just divide it by the number of congressmen. Kasi as though that entire pie is being divided among 318 congressmen. That is not how it actually works. Di ba? So, I don't want to comment on it because it is basically misleading. Okay.